Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, the Archangel Network. I'm back here with another live stream. So coming to my attention, all I just want to say Happy New Year to you all, and that's what I'm trying to recommend. Um, but before I start, I just want to say hello to my viewers and welcome to the live stream. And may the Lord gives us strength and health and so that we can stay close to him and so that we can see him again and to see him the second coming. But yeah, everyone is can't wait for that. But right now is the time that we're living at, and I just want to say to all my viewers, and for the record, for the stream. So some people ask me to request to make a live stream, or actually not a live stream, but a rant video about this so-called YouTuber by the name of Ghetto ASMR, which I'm not even going to, you know, do that right now. But right now, it's the topic about Sweden. Yes, I said it's Sweden. Oh, great. There is bots in my chat. Okay, let me just remove that really quick. And yeah, hello, Charles. Hey, Tutana Shalavir. How's it going? Um, so let's just react to this stream, shall we? And I just want to say that it is an awesome, you know, day today. So yeah, so I want to share everyone the stream or the video actually that I'm about to share with you guys. So we're going to react to one of the Swedish documentaries made by the Russian television or the RT documentaries that they talk about. And like I believe 2 weeks ago, of course, before New Year started, um, I made a stream, about illegal immigration, about um, the Poland Belarus border situations, and how Belarus wants to attack Poland and using migrants as weapons and stuff like that, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm glad Poland is defending their borders because we cannot allow these illegal immigrants or so-called economic immigrants, because they're not even refugees. They're just most of them are. I'll be honest, most of them are refugees, but there are some people that want to come in illegally in the country without any passports, and it's chaotic. It's chaotic. All I'm seeing is an invasion, like you know, similar to what happened to 2014, 2015 when Hungary, Hungary, excuse me, when Hungary was defending its borders next to Serbia's um, borders, because I'm from Serbia, of course. And sorry, someone is sending me a message because today is Orthodox Christmas, and I want to I want to say Merry Christmas to anyone who celebrates um, January 7th, because most Russians and Serbs celebrate this day. And I mean, today is basically Orthodox Christmas Eve, um, but yeah, today I'm going to church, and yeah, but without being said, right now it's not the topic about that. It's about the illegal immigration, so that we're going to discuss, and I believe it's important because there's so many situations that's happening in Sweden and in Scandinavia as well. Mostly in Sweden because Swedish governments are mostly feminists who basically just want to allow these illegal immigrants, you know and basically they're talking about how they're basically illegal immigrants that are men that are ages with 30s and 40s, and why not, and claim that they are like boys, and the government gives them like 100 euros for a month, which is crazy, and they don't even think about their own citizens, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what type of government would do such a thing that wouldn't care its own people, but will care, you know, so-called men who claim they're like teenage boys, but reality they're most of them are terrorists. And like I explained to my last video, I'm not saying all refugees are terrorists. However, most of these people want to come here because they say they want to adapt here. However, you know, when they come to these countries, it doesn't change anything to them, you know what I'm saying? And that's a huge issue. So, let's get on with this documentary video, and let's share this screen so we can share everyone the screen. Um, all right, so everyone can see the screen, right? Um, just let everyone clarify that you can see the screen. Um, but yeah, yes, okay. So now let's just react to this video just to see what's going on, because I know I had a huge feeling that we're going to get this type of situation going around. Um, so yeah, so let's just react to this. And before we react to this, let's just read the description first of all, because there's more types of documentaries like these. They should say more Swedish documentaries, but to be more specific. But anyways, let's just read this. At the height of immigrant influx into Europe in 2014 and 2015, Sweden, in the population of 6.7 million, accepted 244,178 asylum seekers, by far the highest rate per capita in the EU. Since then, the rate of violent crime has soared, particularly sexual assault cases. And this is a huge issue with Germany as well, because everyone knows who is Angela Merkel, right? She accepted millions of immigrants in 2014 to 2015 as well. Same in Sweden. And that is a huge issue, because I even doubt these individuals even have passports. You know, that's my huge point. Um, but yeah, and there's a lot of sexual assaults as well, and gang rapes. Yeah, so let's just get onto it, because there's a lot of things that's going on over there, and that's a really huge issue. Not even going to lie. So the fact that these people can just come here and sit and think they can do whatever they want is just disgusting. That's the point. Unbelievable. And yet we see so many people that have, especially in Arabic countries such as Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, um, Qatar, and Federal Arab nations, and the rest of the Arab nations, you know, because Yemen, has their own issues when it comes to hunger as well, and Oman, similar. However, Saudi Arabia is like one of the richest Arabian countries in the Middle East, and they don't even accept at least an immigrant. So that's I gotta be honest, that's crazy. But let's just get on with it with the description. So the Swedish police have outlined over 50 areas with high immigrant populations that are marred by crime, social unrest, and insecurity. Of these, 23 have been classified as especially vulnerable, or what migration critics call no go zones, where even the police have trouble operating. Besides the high incidence of gang violence and drug trafficking, residents complain these areas are being virtually colonized by immigrants whose cultures clash with Swedish values. Many Swedes and older immigrants alike have begun to say that Sweden doesn't feel like Sweden anymore. I understand where they're coming from. And it's not just that drug trafficking is happening or gang violence, it's also sex trafficking too, right? Because we can see what happened in the United States, right? Even though slavery isn't a thing anymore in the US, there is still slavery, which is 10 times worse than in the times where President Lincoln was president, right? So, and plus sex trafficking, it's crazy to think about this because if we think about it, um, sex trafficking alongs with people that involve with a lot of crimes. And most people that do this are most importantly immigrants, right? Not just illegal immigrants, but terrorists, that do these types of stuff. And it's really important that we must realize that most of this happen to these stuff is because of people that make other ideologies, right? So, you know, and that's really really sad to think about it because just think about it. If we're talking about sex trafficking, right, and drug trafficking and other things, right, then that's a really huge issue because it explains, besides the high incidence of gang violence and trafficking, Rents complain these areas are being virtually colonized by immigrants whose cultures clash with Swedish values. So that means that besides there is such thing as gang violence and drug trafficking, there are people that complain that there are regions of these areas that are colonized by illegal immigrants. And once they colonize that region, that will belong to them. And not only that, that area will belong to Islam, which is a huge issue. And like I said, I have no problem with people that who are Muslim. However, if you're trying to occupy a territory and you're illegal immigrant, that's just proves that these people are jihadists. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, because I watch a channel called Potrista, which is in Serbian, which means the the way of Jesus. You know, and the guy is speaking the same thing about illegal immigrations. He even said if he was Alabuka Aphrodite, whatever his name is, because I mostly forgot about what he was talking about, but because I was concentrating on other stuff before making the stream. However, he told he was speaking how you know his best soldiers should go with the refugees, and he said go with them, because once they go with them, they're gonna go arrive in the Balkans and in the heart of Europe. Their goal is to go in Europe and Islamicize it. And that's a huge issue. Now, why is this a huge issue? And why we cannot accept these refugees or illegal immigrants? Because most of them are jihadists, okay? And once they claim, oh, we're refugees, they would just, say, hey, you know, let's go in because no one believes we're terrorists or something like that. Or the ISIS members, you know, like the attacks that happened in France because there were like multiple beheadings in France, you know, that even beheaded like Catholics and other people, that lived in France and stuff like that, which is crazy. Because if we think about this, then this is really, really serious situation. And this is crazy, not gonna lie. So, but most of all, these people that we're inviting in are jihadists, okay? Without any documents, without any passports, and all of a sudden, no one knows these jihadists are in Europe. So that means we're inviting them in there. And that's a huge issue. So let me just read most of these a little bit right here. So, critics of the government's liberal immigration policies complain that the police are afraid to intervene for fear of being accused of racial profiling. And you see, this is the problem. There are snowflakes who are afraid to stand up for their rights. Sweden for Swedes. What's wrong with that? And if you're saying that, then they will just call you a racist, a bigot, and other stupid stuff, that these liberals are just gonna call you. So, while the country's politically correct press generally brands anyone raising concerns about immigrations as racist, Sorry about that. I had to come back because there was someone was calling me and stuff. But anyway, when it comes to illegal immigration, it's a huge issue because there's so many situations about this. And yeah, so let's just read this at the end. So, but now some people fed up with what they see as the authorities in action have taken matters into their own hands. They have begun to organize groups calling themselves like the soldiers of Odin. Uh, yeah, I think I know these people because I seen people like these before because you know most of them call them like racist because they just want to stay white and stuff like that. But I mean, soldiers of Odin. I mean, okay, but I don't serve Odin. Sorry. Anyway, to patrol the country's most blighted neighborhoods, they're sometimes called vi- vigilantes or racists. But the groups say they want the freedom to live their own country as it was before the migrant crisis began. So even though I have different opinions when it comes to religion, because they believe in something else, however, I can agree that when it comes to illegal immigration, I can agree that people need to be majority in their countries, in their own countries. And that's just my whole point. So, but let's just get on with the documentary and react to this.
Sweden. Deadly violence at highest level since records began.
We want Sweden to be a Swedish country, and we want a lot of the people who live here now to go back.
Swedish Crime Prevention Agency refuses to gather information on immigrant background of criminals.
The total cost for this entire group of immigrants is exceeding our defense budget. It's a disaster, really.
We just come here because of some problem in our country, and we need help. Yes. To protect.
Surge in rape cases puts focus on crime ahead of Swedish election.
You see, they say that, but the problem is these people, they think, it's the same thing like they live in their own country. That's what they think. That's the huge point. Now, they have their own issues. Okay, go and fix your own countries, Let's just come back with this reaction.
Rapes on boys has become a phenomenon thanks to the immigration from Afghanistan.
So I started calling my friends and I said, let's do something now. We'll take back our streets.
Elevated risk of Islamist terror as jihadis operate freely in Sweden.
We kind of have a state within the state. They colonize the area. Sweden will disappear bit by bit.
Man. Get out of here, man! Go now!
Okay, stop.
Okay, go.
It's changed dramatically. And it is not the Sweden I remember and I came to.
Sweden is considered one of the most refugee-friendly countries in the world. That's after taking in more asylum seekers per capita than anywhere else in Europe. That was 2 years ago when we visited a Wild West theme park, which in the off-season became a refugee camp for 500 people who had all gone through hell to get here. I'll be honest with you, there were times when sitting in my comfortable apartment in Moscow when I was watching the news, I would think, yes, Europe has to do something. They need to limit the number of refugees that they allow into their country, because they are in some cases starting to outnumber the local communities in certain villages, certain cities. But having met some of them, the children especially, they deserve a chance. People need to help, you know? You can't just let people stay where they are or let them be in the border. It's not easy.
And I understand where they're coming from. However, if you guys watch my last stream, which was last year in December, when it comes to Poland and Belarus border, I actually showed everyone the evidence about the situation, what is going on. And the fact is, I even showed everyone, how, these immigrants are using cigarettes to basically blow smoke on their children's face. And that's a really huge issue because, if these people do these stuff, then I don't think we should allow them to come in because, they don't have passports. They do these stuff. They, who knows if these people have drugs, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm not saying every person is a bad person. What I'm trying to say is if we allow them to come into our countries, that'll be a huge issue because when it comes to children, when it comes to families, I understand that. But when it comes to people, that come with them, and most of these people are jihadists, then that means that Europe is allowing these people to come in without any passports and documents. Then that means no wonder these people no wonder there are lots of crimes in Germany and in Sweden. That's just crazy.
To start again in a new country, but Sweden was providing everything it could in terms of housing and training to help refugees get back on their feet as soon as possible. Even though living conditions looked great, refugees were struggling to adjust and couldn't wait to get their lives back on track. I don't understand how even some people could complain here. They get fed 3 times a day, the living conditions are good, but some people still complain. Why? Why is that?
I think it's because of they have been here like 1.5 months. It's cold, it's winter, and the school haven't started really yet. The real school for the children. They don't know how to go with bus yet. And here in High Chaparral, everything is great. The only thing
This is sad, really. And honestly, I believe that Europe should remain Europe. Yes, I agree. Europe should remain Europe. That's the point.
it's not so good. It's the supermarkets and everything is outside.
Okay. And you said that you felt the same way when you arrived. It was difficult for you to adjust.
Yeah.
But I think I need the time for that. Yeah, and I think it will come again.
And you also said something that from Syria you were from a bigger city.
Yeah,
and many of them they come also from a bigger city.
Yeah, like me. I am from Aleppo, from Syria, and in Aleppo we have 6 million there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we come to Sweden, all the Sweden might it's more difficult.
In the 2 years since then, I've been getting calls to go back and show the other side. Swedes who are angry about the number of newcomers settling in the country. I wanted to understand their point of view, and when some call them racist or even neo-Nazis. Stockholm Central Station, 11 p.m. The soldiers of Odin are gathering for their weekly street patrol. While they get ready, their leader is on his way to the airport to pick up the head of the Maltese branch of the group.
Hey man, how are you? Have a nice flight?
Yeah.
I think someone needs a cigarette.
Yeah. I too. Where's the rest?
They're in Stockholm.
Okay.
Waiting for us. They're probably out doing an early patrol or something before we get back.
Probably, yeah.
Well, we could go to the car.
Let's go. Soldiers of Odin was founded in September 2015. It was founded by Mika Ranka, and originally the thought is protecting our citizens, taking care of our cultures. We're getting hundreds of thousands of.
Oh, thanks, man. Um, Spanberg City says great. Yeah, I hope she doesn't win too because she is definitely responsible for all of this. Honestly. And even Angela Merkel even admitted that it was her mistake to allow these immigrants in.
Of illegal immigrants, and unfortunately, it's changing our way of life completely, from schools to family life.
Members come here from different parts of the country, and sometimes they even travel abroad to join other patrols in Europe. They spend their own money to do this, and often sleep in hostels or stay at each other's houses.
Oh shit.
We usually do it at least once or twice a week. We usually patrol areas where there is usually some trouble, you know?
It's a lot of bar fights with drunk people and girls getting harassed and raped. Mostly after they've been out to bars, drinking.
Some would say that this is something that should be handled by the authorities. Why do you guys have to come out on the street?
I would say the same. It should be handled by the authorities. But the authorities are paid by the government, and the government is actually who's getting the trouble in here.
When you say trouble, who do you mean? Who are we talking about here?
Unfortunately, in Europe, our culture is to welcome everyone, right? And we do. And we are multicultural. But unfortunately, with this illegal immigration influx, most of them are from a completely different culture, which is Islamic, completely different from ours. They come here for a better life, they say, but when they come here, they live the same life they had before, which is not the life we're used to. And if they do it on their own, we don't mind. But when they impose it on us, it becomes a problem. I mean, we're losing our culture. When I was young, I used to play in the streets. I can't let my son do that nowadays.
In 2016, Swedish police outlined 55 zones which even they have trouble operating in. Now that figure has increased to 61. They describe them as areas marred by crime, social unrest, and insecurity. Ambulances and firefighters often get backup cars when they go there. Swedes say they experience intimidation and feel like outcasts when they find themselves in such neighborhoods.
I find that so dangerous. I can't believe Sweden from 2 decades ago was like one of the most safest countries, and now and turned into a dumpster on fire. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Yeah, I no one likes racism. Right, you're right. Racism should be forbidden. And no one should be racist. That's right. Yeah, right. And since illegal immigration is a thing nowadays, and since many people allow this, we have to stop it, because this, if we don't stop it, there will be more crimes in those countries. Not just in Europe, but it could be anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
We're now at the Central Station, and we're going on the blue line. It's quite infamous line because it leads to some of the worst ghettos of Europe.
And when it comes to the documentation, when it comes to this documentation of this video, you will see later that there was one Somali woman who was talking about how, you know, there were people who are organized, like I said in the beginning of the stream, how they were organizing, things like that, and they just wanted to conquer land and stuff like that. So let's get to it.
So we go in this direction and then to Rinkeby, which is internationally infamous. You will see a gradual decrease of Swedish people on the metro, and when we finish at Rinkeby, we will probably be the only white people.
Gustav is sick and tired of what he sees as the government's inaction and leniency. So he has now formed a new political party called Alternative for Sweden.
They don't want to work. Most of these people, they live on generous benefits from the Swedish state. And why on earth would you want to do a 9-to-5 work in Sweden if you get even more money when you live on the benefit? This station has also been the center of Stockholm when it comes to the heroin traffic from youth immigrants, came from primarily Morocco and Afghanistan to deal heroin. So this is where a lot of the heroin traffic originated, flowing heroin into other parts of Stockholm. And the police actually had to clean this area out of youth immigrants that were living in the metro tunnels, several hundred of them.
This is the exact place where a TV crew from Australia was attacked while filming a report about the area. This is what happened.
Go! Don't you touch me! Don't be unkind! You can't feed! No, don't do it!
So there's been a huge debate in Sweden the last months about the increased number of shootings that you have in these kind of areas, not only in Stockholm, but in Gothenburg and Malmö and all over. And there's been an explosion in the rate of shootings.
Where do they find the weapons?
They find the weapons. They come from, you don't have any border control in Sweden. Anyone can just drive in from the south of Sweden, from Europe to the south of Sweden, and then up to Stockholm.
And someone will tell you, how do you know that it's not?
I'm going to be honest. Malmö is like one of the most dangerous cities in Sweden right now. Yes, I said it. It's just not safe anymore, like, honestly. But may God protect these people.
Aren't Swedish people who are...
Well, you see any Swedish people here?
There are so many Somalians living here that locals call this area Little Mogadishu. And one person who knows this place very well is Mona Walters. She was born in Somalia and fled to Sweden as a refugee in 1994. She converted to Christianity and has made it her mission to expose what goes on behind closed doors here.
Okay, so this is the part I was talking about in the beginning of the stream. So let's get through it.
I was talking about my experience and what I encountered in the suburbs and in the mosque, what is happening. There were some women who complained about their husband marrying in secret with other women. And when they complain, the imam say, no, you should not complain because Allah allows, Allah means God. Allah allows him to have 4 wives if he have 2 other sisters. And that is okay because we need to produce money. Children, we need to 3 times more than the infidel in order to be much.
Sorry about that, guys. I gotta go for a second because, you know, situations. I'll be back. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let's just continue.
Majority. I went with the Swedish television, SVT. One day when they finally follow me there to Rinkeby and really saw what was happening, 1 minute we walked and they stopped me.
Wait, is there a way I could just, like,
and they come right,
put-
attacking an old man, all of them. Young people, oh killer, you whore, calling me, and they say it's not Sweden anymore here, because that is
Okay, this works too.
What I try to tell these people, when they have their own area, that area belongs to Islam. That area belongs to them. They colonize the area. It's not part of Sweden. They put my address, my name in a website, and say, kill her, behead her. She's infidel.
We returned to Rinkeby on our own to try and talk to the locals. Drugs are being used and sold blatantly on the square, and you can smell it before you even walk out of the metro. That's why we had to be careful and lower the cameras so as not to provoke anyone.
Most careful, you know.
Yeah?
Don't ask anybody here, especially teenagers.
Teenagers. Okay, but all the people, it's okay.
The big guys, you can.
The big guys, it's okay. Can you tell us a little bit about this area? What is it like to live here?
Tough.
Why?
Because there's a lot of drugs and violence.
So why do you live here?
I'm born and raised here. It's not a problem.
It's not, so if you're a local here, it's not a problem.
No.
But so do you think anything will happen to us if we continue asking questions?
No, but don't film randomly.
Wendy, what's happening here, man?
I'm Phil, they're filming me.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why are you? Get the out of here, man. No!
Okay, all right, relax.
Shoot.
Nothing, man. You wanna get shot or something? Get the out of here, man. Get out of here, man. Go now. Go now. Go now.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop.
Okay, go.
Okay, we're done.
See, this is like, I don't like these kind of people. This is so messed up.
Oh, okay, we're done.
The fact that they're allowing this stuff is just sick to my stomach.
Your camera or something. Get out of here, man.
The Muslim Brotherhood, the Islamists, they have a power. They've been given power by the politicians. Sweden is a country of social democrats. So the social democrats have a special relationship with the Islamists. We've been put under Sharia in Sweden. These suburbs, the imams are the one who's controlling that area. And if you stand against these imams or your family, they will be excommunicate you. The problem is that we kind of have a state within the state.
There's no way to confirm or refute Mona's claims, but one thing's for sure. Walking through a neighborhood like Rinkeby does feel intimidating, which is certainly not what you might expect in a country like Sweden. While some blame religion and ethnicity for driving people here to crime, others point to discrimination and the lack of decent jobs for migrants. Refugees constantly try to remind locals that most of them have escaped war zones and are only looking for better and more peaceful lives.
De som flyr har inget val. Här har vi jättemånga människor, jättemånga som kommer för att kämpa för oss. Vi är jätteglada idag. Jag vill inte att göra er ledsna, men jag vill säga att vi växer och växer. Vi kommer att vara överallt. Vi kommer att säga stoppa utvisarna tills...
Soon we'll be everywhere and we will go on making our demands. This is proof that Swedes will live in minority to their home country. That's just insane. I'm just saying. That's crazy.
Den dagen att politikerna kommer med ställningstagande och säger Afghanistan är inte säkert och de som har väntat i 2,5 år och har inte fått någon asyl, rättssäkra asylprövningar ska komma på stanna i Sverige. Vi kommer att stoppa utvisarna till Afghanistan.
واقعا درک نمیکنه خیلی سخته که منتظر قبولیت بعضی ها منفی دارن واقعا میفهمم که خیلی سخته جان شما در خطر بود آمدید اینجا مثلا پناه آوردید ولی یک مسئله هست که بچه همه شون 20 بیرار خود خیلی سعی کنید تلاش کنید با دست جواب بگیرید
Ja, idag har vi en internationella protester i hela Europa, så en av de största, om vi är här idag betyder ju att de som har kommit till Sverige 2015 och efter och har väntat här i 2,5 år och deras prövningar har inte prövats säkra.
While we were here, we noticed a few guys handing out leaflets, so we decided to ask them what they were doing. This guy had doubts about talking to us originally because he feared his right-wing views would provoke potential repercussions from his university.
We are a group of citizens, friends, who is getting sick of the immigration policy that we got in Sweden. And this is the worst example of the failed immigration policy. They are full-grown men, 27, 30 years old, who claim they are boys, so they get special assistance and cost about 100 euros each day
Indeed.
per person. And the total cost for this entire group of immigrants is exceeding our defense budget. It's a disaster, really. So what we need to do is to gather these people up. All the police who are here, just go in there, gather them up, put them on a plane, and fly them back to their home country.
In 2015, Sweden announced it would expel nearly 80,000 refugees and migrants, about half of the new arrivals that year. While many welcomed the news, others saw it as a step backwards for a proudly humanitarian society. Swedes are very welcoming at their core, which was evident when I was here 2 years ago and saw the great lengths they went to help refugees.
This community has to arrange school for kids between 7 and 15 years. That's the Swedish law. So that's why we're arranging school here. So within 1 month from arrival, the Swedish school has to arrange it.
Take just one. Oh, I can do it.
So where are you from?
I come from Sudan.
Sudan.
I work here as a teacher.
Uh-huh.
I will teach Arabic. Also, I will teach English.
How long have you been in Sweden?
I have been here for 2.5 years.
And now you can get back to the community people who also came
Yes,
here.
I came here to help the people.
Aside from school and specialized courses, locals also invited refugees to church so they could get to know each other better.
Let me clarify this. This is so insane. Like it just... Illegal immigrations is not illegal. Okay, just whatever, man. It just proves the fact that these people, if you invite these individuals, they will cause more chaos. I mean, you can see what happened to Germany. Lots of gang rapes. And that's a fact. No one cannot make this up. And I basically watched one of Paul Joseph Watts's videos that they basically there were groups of women that were talking about how, you know, there were basically men that were trying to rape her, you know, and stuff like that, and it's crazy. So yeah, you could keep your opinions to yourself, but yeah.
Regardless of race and religion.
It's a couple minutes from High Chaparral because our refugees and the ordinary people want to have a little pray time. And
They have different religions. How does it work?
Yeah, but we have some of them who have converted from Islam to Christianity. And we have also Muslims who inside. Then after the pray, They go downstairs, they sit down, hang out, talk about everything.
And there are people that are happy. That's the whole point. But nevertheless, and sir, can you please stop spamming this? Just stop, okay? And of course, God created lands. Who doesn't because without creator, nothing will have any purpose. So I agree. To roam the earth. Okay, whatever that means, but of course, God created lands. Let's just continue with this video.
How often do you do this?
Actually, we invite them every Sunday. We have 2 churches in this town. This is one of them, and we have another one just further down. And it's important for people to feel that they have a place here if they want to. You can pray here to our God or to either God. You can meet in the prayer, and it's important, I think, to show love.
Do you think it's important for refugees it makes them feel more welcome?
Yes.
More.
Yes, I think so. And I think it's important for the language. It's an excellent time to just hear Swedish, try to pronounce Swedish and English as well for us.
Normally, you have people from the community come in. What was their reaction?
The Swedes maybe are a bit shy. And I think when you are shy, but you are curious, maybe you don't ask, you don't, you do some looking and then you smile and then you walk away. So maybe some people have been just shy at first, but I think everyone feels okay with this.
I agree, because every single time I go to a country in a plane, I always show my documentations and passports. Yeah. And these so-called refugees don't show them. I mean, well,
It's good for our community to meet other Christians or Muslims or whatever. So I think it's good for everybody, actually.
According to a new report, in early 2018, around half of all planned deportations were cancelled, and a number of refugees have reportedly gone missing. This is precisely what scares some Swedes, who want to help, but not at their expense. The climate is definitely changing. An anti-immigration party, which some say is far-right, has even managed to secure seats in parliament. Some say they're simply spreading anti-migrant propaganda, while others just tell you to check out one of the many ghettos in Sweden. And that's where we were heading next. This is Malmö. It's Sweden's 3rd largest city and often described as the most dangerous in Western Europe.
Problems, yes, it is they burning cars or a lot of youth stuff. They're outside the society. They sell some drugs and they think they're tough.
Я пришел здесь из Белграда как профессиональный баскетболист. Работал в баскетболе и 30 лет.
И какая тут обстановка? Вот как вы видите здесь?
Oh, I know this guy. I don't know who that guy is, but he said he's from Belgrade or Belgrade, how I said it in Serbian. And yeah, so let's just see what he's gonna say.
Ситуация здесь нет хорошая, потому что это гетто. Здесь живут только люди, которые пришли из Азии, мусульмане живут за себя, а шведы живут за себя в другом городе. А здесь 25-30 тысяч людей, которые пришли из Ирана, Ирака и так дальше. Они не работают, многие живут на социальные деньги. Работы нет за ее, потому что они не знают язык. Они живут как в своей стране. Они никогда не имеют контакт с шведскими людьми. Это проблема. Шведская не имеет план.
بيئة مش منيحة تمام وفيها كتير بعض الشباب المخدرات مافيات حتى تحت السكن يعني إنه أماكن نحل النفايات إنه ما بيهتموا بهالشي إنه بيئة كتير قرف صراحة.
Don't do problem here. You make maskhara of.
Are you threatening me?
Huh?
Are you threatening me? Why? I'm just asking questions.
Don't ask too much.
I'm asking. Excuse me?
Don't ask too much. It's better for you. It will be a big problem.
In February, armed officers were deployed outside police stations in this area to ward off vengeance attacks, following a number of incidents against them. Technically, crime is going down in Sweden, but lethal violence involving firearms is going up, and it's mainly gang-related. The Prime Minister has even considered deploying the military in such ghettos in an effort to clamp down on organized crime. In the meantime, locals are getting together and taking matters into their own hands. Like here, for example. This is another group that runs street patrols. They're from the Communist Party and have refugees who volunteer with them.
Yeah, so this street has a bit of a bad reputation with a lot of, black market, contraband. If there was going to be any problem in these areas, I would just back away. I mean, people can be armed or... There was 3 gang rapes in a very short time. I got very emotional and angry and felt, what the hell is happening? This is my city, this is where I live. Young women is being assaulted in the middle of the street. And when the second rape took place, I felt we need to do something. One policeman was in the newspaper recorded to say that women should be at home.
Som vi ser det just nu så rekommenderar vi framförallt kvinnor som rör sig ute sent på nätterna att helst inte göra det utan ordna skjuts eller att man är fler människor som går i grupp.
And then the third rape happened. I called my comrades in the party and I said, let's do something now. We'll take back our streets. We cannot sit silent while this is happening.
This right here, one time I was attacked by 5 people and they took my wallet and bike and phone and everything.
Mm-hmm. And we too have teenage daughters at home. And I would like to think that what I do has an effect and makes the society a little safer for my daughter.
Late last year, this is where one of the gang rapes took place in this...
2000 Shalavir, just block this guy, okay? Because the guys just keep on spamming these type of messages. Just block this guy, okay? Because we don't care about him, okay?
Place for children actually to play, and it was about 3 o'clock in the night. There was an underage woman who was brutally raped by 3 assailants, and there was horror stories, being rumors in the city about what they did to her, and I will not repeat them, but there was very graphic details about this rape, and one of the policemen said that he had never experienced anything like it before. He has never seen anything like it.
Sweden doesn't collect data on the background of criminals in the country, and speaking out against migrants is a big taboo here. That's why journalists and bloggers who are not afraid to do some digging.
I know this YouTuber, the Angry Foreigner. I think I used to watch his type of one of his videos, but yeah, let's get on to it.
And speak their mind are becoming more popular.
Hey, welcome to Sweden. This is the #1 rape capital of Europe. The Swedes are the most self-loathing people on the entire globe. I have never come across a country where nationalism is one of the biggest taboos, to the point where it's considered to be racism.
It's gotten worse in every way. Every problem we had before has gotten worse. Well, rapes on boys has become a phenomenon thanks to the immigration from Afghanistan. And even the mainstream media reported on this because you can't really hide it anymore. There's been, I think, 15 gang rapes on boys. So this is happening in refugee camps. Okay. This is a typical image of a refugee child. And he really looks like he's happy that he's screwed over Sweden. There's tons of images like these. Her family grew with 4 more. And it's like, what is this? These are not kids. Look at this guy. This is not a kid. These middle-aged women that are refugee activists adopt refugee children and then have sex with them. This looks kinky. It just looks sexual. It looks perverse. And they all look the same, and it's all like, this is not a kid. This is not a kid. Let's say immigration was primarily women instead of men. So imagine a group of old guys flocking together, waiting to take care of these refugee girls. Everyone would be talking about how disgusting and pedophiliac it is. But since it's women, we're kind of like holding on to this idea that they're saints. There's such a lack of resources.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Sources that people are actually dying because of that. It's very much the welfare state is crumbling, you could say. We're not going to have a stable social systems if it carries on in this way. By 2025.
While the Angry Foreigner is highlighting what he sees as the issues, journalist Ingrid Carlqvist says that's not enough anymore. I first met her in 2016 when she took me to her childhood neighborhood to show me how much it had changed because of immigration.
I have some more. There is one, another hijab. And here you see Jesus. He's always been there. He's sort of part of this this facade, and people have always known that this is the building where Jesus is. And now, because the students are taking over here, they have to put something to hide Jesus.
So that they are welcome into all religions.
Yeah, but that is so stupid. I mean, this is part of the building. What evil could Jesus on the wall do to you? Why do we say that, oh, Muslims get offended? Why can't we get offended? We never get offended.
Facts.
They push their rules onto us. They don't like Jesus, so then he cannot be on the house anymore. I was worried when you saw me 2 years ago, and now I am even more worried. People are really scared, especially women. Swedes will become a minority in our country in maybe in 20 years. Maybe you can say we are buying our country back.
Jag vet inte hur många här inne som inte har varit i sådana här sammankomster innan, men jag minns ju själv när jag var ensam nationalist och man kände sig galen verkligen, och man trodde att alla hade blivit fullständigt galna. Men att få träffa människor som man kunde få prata med och man kände en gemenskap, det var så otroligt stort alltså, och det ger en styrka att kunna kämpa vidare. Vi kommer ju bygga Svenskarnas hus som kommer vara en samlingspunkt för oss svenskar, för oss som bryr oss om vårt land. Med det sagt så vill jag lämna över ordet till vår ordförande, Dan Eriksson.
Jag och Ingrid och Daniel och Magnus Söderman valde att grunda Det fria Sverige. Som sagt, det här är liksom den närmaste tiden. Men vad finns det då för större vision med det här? För att det, liksom, köpa ett hus någonstans och ha lite trevliga träffar och sådär, det är ju för en ganska lång tid framöver. Det kommer bli större etniska konflikter. Det kommer bli mer kriminalitet. Vi kommer se en välfärdsstat som totalt krackelerar för att den är ekonomiskt ohållbar med den här massinvandringen. Och det är mycket möjligt att vi kommer få se politiker som försöker begränsa invandringen eller stoppa invandringen. Men det är långt ifrån tillräckligt för att faktiskt göra någonting åt det här idag. Människor kommer verkligen vilja komma till våra områden, för där kommer det vara svenskt, det kommer vara tryggt och det kommer vara säkert.
What is your goal to get rid of all foreigners from Sweden?
No, it's not our goal. We want Sweden to be a Swedish country, and we want a lot of the people who live here now to go back to their countries. Of course, we don't want to get rid of all foreign people. We want the Swedes to be in a big majority because it's our country. But of course, no country can survive. You know, there are always people who come and bring nice things to us.
Around 2/3 of the people here asked us not to show their faces.
My question is, why go to Sweden? Why go to Germany? Why don't you go to another place which is close to your country? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense.
For fear of being judged or even fired. Speaking out against immigration remains a huge taboo in Sweden, but some are more fearless than others. Hans, for example, a man so fed up with immigration, he actually relocated with his wife to avoid seeing foreigners. Little did he know that what he sees as trouble would end up right on his doorstep.
This is the house which now will be opened up the 1st of March. With, they say 12 young, aggressive boys from Malmö. I think it will be Muslims because it's Palestinian Salafists which have rented the house and which have got the approval for running this school. It's a dangerous situation. Looking me up at Google, that is absolutely no good.
They're exporting problems from the big towns, big cities, Malmö and Lund and Helsingborg. They're exporting problems out to the villages. So they buy or rent apartments and they put the problems there.
Can burn off.
Hans and his wife live in the municipality of Schwebo, one of the only places to hold an immigration referendum in which the majority voted against accepting refugees. That was in the late 80s, and the ban has since been overturned.
It's a Celtic Orthodox cross, and I bought it the day when we drove around down in France, and we heard on the radio that 2 Muslims attacked the church and assaulted 5 nuns and have cut the throat, halal slaughtered a priest in an age of 84 years. I have to show from now on, I said to myself, where I come from. My culture is a Christian culture, and we don't do things like that. And we will tell you, if you do them, then we hate you. And someday, hopefully, we will do something about you to stop you doing this.
What if you knew someone who lived here or your neighbor that had, for example, paintings with Jesus on a platter, or, you know, the equivalent of like you have Muhammad but with Jesus? Would that bother you? How would you feel about that?
I mean, people can hang on their walls what they want from me. Yeah, I don't care. We don't care. No. That is in our backbone. Mm-hmm. That's freedom. As long as it does not interfere with other people's freedom. So that is, we are raised with that system.
And also, I mean, even if they would be really provocative with Jesus or whatever, I wouldn't like it, but I just let them do it. Stella?
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
our dogs are terrorists trying to sabotage our work. Racing.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. Yes, I find that really hypocritical too. So I watched, I believe one of the rant videos where one guy was making about how liberals are getting, rage because the illegal immigrants, how some European countries don't want to allow them in, such as Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, Ukraine, and basically they just want to blame those countries because they don't want to allow illegal immigrants in. However, there are Arabian countries from Middle East that don't allow illegal immigrants as well. I find that really hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? So, let's just get along with it.
Racist, Nazi, Islamophobe, whatever it is. I have all the labels on me and I'm proud of it.
The government has always been very careful not to incite racial hatred, warning Swedes not to link crime and migration.
The people who are causing problems for us today, the vast majority of them are born in Sweden, and that's not a notion of migration.
They're focusing on integration and social inclusion. That appears to be the challenge, but they're doing everything they can to teach newcomers their values and language and get them working as soon as possible.
It's about having respect for basic Swedish values. You have both rights and duties here, and also having the right opportunities to establish yourself in Swedish society. We want to help as many people as we can.
They just want to fill up Europe with new people. I don't know, it's like they hate their own people. In fact, there's this guilt, like the Germans. They hate themselves for what they did in the Second World War. I mean, it was Hitler, he didn't do anything.
Det kommer ju bli livvakt när det släpps. Jo, och sen alla ställen där vi har haft incidenter. Tror jag också att det blir. Ja, det är lite problem med vissa som försökte stjäla kläder och grejer. Så här stod vi då. My name is Sofia. I live in a city called Västerås, which is about 100 kilometers from Stockholm. I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now, I think. I joined because I have kids, and when I was younger, I could go out and be safe, but we can't do that anymore, especially not as a girl. Less cops, lots more violence, like the rapes are going sky high, like especially gang rapes, robbery, abuse, everything is sky high. I don't think they have resources enough to clean up the mess some of them made. I mean, in my city, we have like 3 or 4 no-go zones where the police don't even go. And I don't live in a very big city, but so.
And how can you afford that? The journey, of course, costs.
I work a lot. I do. I work more than full time.
So you spend your own money?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today, me and my co-leader, that I have probably spent somewhere between 20 and 30,000 Swedish crowns for 1.5 years on this. Because I want my kids to be safe and other kids as well. And when I get older, I hope someone else does the same so I can go outside, because my older relatives, they don't even go shopping for food when it's dark because they live in the wrong places.
Vad har ni för agenda då? Varför är du ute och nattvandrar?
Varför?
Ja.
Så som jag anser rakt av själv, så tycker jag att polisen har de resurserna och visar ut på sånt tillräckligt. Alltså boende. Just på sådana där parker och sådana områden. Vart i kan hålla.
Men ni har inga vapen och så på er, eller?
Nej.
Ingen av er?
Om det är någon som har så varsågod plocka dem. Vi har en regel att du har inte vapen när du ute och går. Så är det någon som har, gå igenom övningen. Ge oss gärna tröjan i jackan för den som har det på sig. Då får ni gärna gå med på. Eller så.
Har du något ID-kort på dig? All right, då. Ta det lugnt.
Detsamma.
Good night.
Hej.
Do they know who you are?
Of course. Yes, of course.
Yeah?
We have a good connection with the police. So we tell them every time when we're out where we're going to go and start time, finish time. So
They wouldn't admit that they like what we do, because they can't. But they actually do. They would love to do it themselves,
See, how many do you want?
I noticed when we were walking, at some points we were near a mosque, and you put something on the door. What was that?
That was a tiny sticker, just to like integrate. You know, we receive many flyers from different, let's say, groups. You know, Jehovah, Islam. Well, we're promoting ourselves, like they do to us. We give, you know, we're promoting each other.
There is a lot of racist.
Racist.
It's a conflict between the immigrant and the Swedish racists.
Is there one example? Like what kind of racism you find?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago, and another guy was standing, the place that I take the bus. He called me, and, started abusing me. And I told him, honestly, why are you abusing me? But he reacted badly.
We come here because of some problem in our country. Come here because of some problem in our country, and we need help. We need to protect. So it's not the way they think.
So you come here because you want safety and you want to work.
We need to work. We have some people still live in Somalia. They need their help, so we cannot sleep. We have to work and help them out.
Yeah, something's wrong with the internet. Hold on. Okay, it's back. Okay, let me just continue the documentary.
We got family.
Or the vast majority, 99% of the people in this city just want to live normal, quiet lives. And there's just a little few of them that are doing the rapes, that are doing the shootings, and we are tired of it.
It seems that you are targeting a particular group. For example, you're targeting refugees, or you're targeting Muslims.
It might seem so. It might seem so. And yes, that is where it all started from. But when we do patrols, even if we encounter a national citizen doing harm, breaking in a car, harassing a woman, we still take action. Doesn't matter where he's from. Doesn't matter if he's my own neighbor. And we take action. We don't beat anyone up. We don't do any crime.
He stole my phone off me! You tried to punch him. He stole my phone off me.
You tried to punch him.
He stole my phone off me.
Yeah, but the cops are coming.
We're not against anyone. We're not against Muslims. We're not against Jews. We're not against Serbians. We're not against Indians.
Wait.
Yeah.
The guy who worked with us came and told me we can't do this here.
Oh.
He said we have to go.
Oh, because I guess now they've heard what we're...
Did I just hear Serbian? But I think he meant to say Syrians or something like that. But let's get on with it.
Disgusting.
Probably.
Yeah. Basically, the employee in there, as you noticed, first he came next to us to listen what we were discussing. Then he asked us out because he's a migrant himself. As I was explaining before, we've become worse than second-class citizens in our own countries. Who's the racist now?
Almost half of Swedes think racism will increase in the country. Far-right defections could help soften Swedish nationalist image. Dozens arrested during neo-Nazi rally in Sweden. Sweden mulls are using hate crime laws to counter neo-Nazis.
How would you answer if someone said, well, I think based on what you said, you're racist?
It's just ridiculous. So, I mean, I won't even comment on it.
Some would say, well, times are changing. There's war in the Middle East. Some countries need to accept these refugees. Is it maybe the fact that you're afraid of change?
We ask ourselves, are we going crazy? Are we just those who are afraid of are we not ready for changing or something like? But I mean, it's just look around.
I think that Sweden, which is a country that has tried everything for the last decades, now must face the truth. It doesn't work. We have to have a repatriation policy.
Some would say repatriation, sending people back to where they may be persecuted, or there are different arguments about it. They'll say it's inhumane, or they would say your views are potentially racist. How do you answer to that?
Yeah, but I mean, if I got a penny out of every time I was called a racist, I would be a millionaire. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm a racist. It's just a sign of a politically correct society that as soon as anyone criticizes immigration policy, they are called racist. But I don't care anymore, because no one cares about the racist word anymore in Sweden. It's been used all over. And now even the established parties admit that they have overused this term. And I mean, if you look at the migrants that come to Sweden, they have come to Sweden because it's a country that has given them a lot of benefits. They wanted to come here because of our welfare and because of the fact that they don't have to adopt a society here.
Since the peak of the refugee crisis, Sweden has introduced stricter border controls and adopted more restrictive policies when it comes to asylum seekers. The government has admitted that the country has taken on too many given its size, and an immigration overhaul is needed. The number of those coming into the country is decreasing, but some feel that the damage has already been done and the country has been left unrecognizable.
In Gothenburg, we have now from Sweden 300 jihadists that went to Syria and Iraq, to Islamic State.
And now they're coming back to Sweden. Of course, there's going to be a problem because there are hundreds of people, and many of them from this city. And these are people who've been trained to kill and to have fun with it.
I blame the Swedish government and the Swedish system, which is like the Swedish police is toothless.
I don't understand it, that those people who should be our leaders look after us, and those people who should protect us, they are not protecting us.
Our borders are basically wide open for contraband, for smuggling narcotics and guns, and also organized criminals. We should not fool ourselves. We cannot be naive about this. To not attract more gangsters, rapists, and these actually that are tearing down this city.
If we could see consequences for those who commit crimes, for instance, send them back. Rape someone, out. If you lie about your age, out. Then we would I don't think we would protest anymore.
Not only that, if you don't have passports or documents that are actually real, then out. Yeah, but yeah, what can I say about this? I mean, to be honest, I mean, this is just chaotic, but I might gonna stop sharing my screen right now because okay, so okay, that was a long documentation. It took about like at least like 50 minutes or so. But in my opinion, I just want Sweden to remain Sweden, and I don't want any occupations that are happening or any other country that is happening, just like in Taliban or ISIS or any of these organizations, or the rest of the supremacists and all this kind of stuff. So I believe every country should have majority populations as well, and most importantly, that these populations stay as majority in the countries, no matter if you're from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, from Oceania, from the Americas. I don't care, okay? I believe these populations must stay culturalized, and that every country should have majority ethnic populations. So, yeah. So that's all I have to say about this stream. And I hope you enjoy this stream because I, like I said, you know, chaos is happening all around the world, and yeah, so that's my thoughts. So I hope you enjoy this stream. This is the Archangel Network, and I'll hear from you all next time. Peace on the streets, boys and girls.